Hello YouTube, welcome to another Platanoz tutorials. I am Platanoz, and recently I bought the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, and I was amazed at some of the menus and the animation in it, so I decided to make this new tutorial about how to make the Sheikah Slate map menu, and this is what we have right now, right here. You know, something very simple. This is a very simple animation. So if you want to learn how to do that, follow me or keep watching. So I already made all the assets in After Effects. As you can see, nothing's animated so far. So if you open up, if you download the project file, which is going to be in the description below, you can open that up and you can go over to Work Alongside Tutorial, go to that drop down menu, and if you open up main comp no animation, you should have this exact same project file with the exact same layers and everything as I do right now in this video, so you should be able to follow along. Alright, so let's just jump right in. Let's go to the Sheikah symbol and let's reduce the timeline here for a sec, and if we press shift page down on our keyboard, it will leave us a 10 frame space, so just so when we play the video, the viewer has at least half a second to catch up on what's going on, So let's leave 10 frames with no animation, and then we can animate this layer here, this beam layer. We can drop down the menu here, and then we can, let's just animate its scale. As you can see, I've unlocked the scale properties here, so we can just animate the horizontal scaling. So let's just do that. Let's click here on the clock and let's hit 0, enter, and that's going to start the scaling from 0, and then let's leave it about 10, maybe 14 frames, and let's bring it back to 100. Alright, so that's going to be the first thing we see. When we open that menu, we're going to see that beam animating on, and that's what starts the animation. You know what? Let me open up the finished main comp example again, just so we can analyze what happens frame by frame. So we see the beam coming up, and we see behind it, we see that circle expanding with the glow and then disappearing, and then everything blurs away and fades, and that's when we see the current location and the radar. So that's basically what we're gonna do today. And also you see those lines behind everything that seems to just go up? We're gonna learn how to do that as well. So let's just continue. Alright, so we got the beam. That's pretty good. Then we're gonna fade it. So let's just press T on our keyboard, click on the clock for the opacity, and let's leave it like 7, let's leave it 10 frames again, and let's fade it down. Alright, that should be good. So right after the beam, we have maybe like 3 frames. After that, we're gonna have the right side and the left side moving. So let's press P on our keyboard, and then we click on the clock to animate the position parameter, and let's leave it more than 10. Let's leave it to like 15 maybe keyframes, and let's move it to the side and to the side again. There we go. Let's press F9. If we grab all those keyframes, press F9 on our keyboard, it should soften everything. And if we go to our graph editor, we can grab those curves and bring them, just change them up a little bit so the animation plays a little bit smoother. See that? There we go. So now that we have that, we can fade them as well. So let's grab them both, press T on our keyboard for the opacity, and let's go down to maybe 7 keyframes and fade them down. Yeah, something like that. Alright, what else? We need the eye to disappear. So let's go 3 keyframes. Let's go 3 keyframes after the beam. So right here. And I'm just pressing page up and page down just to toggle from frame to frame. So that's pretty useful to do. It's very quick. Alright, so let's do that. Let's go to the eye, which is the middle layer right here. And let's animate its opacity. And this one is going to last less, so maybe 10 keyframes. And it's going to disappear. You know what, let's add 2 more, so 12. So then that's going to disappear first. And let's see what we have here. There we go. But before any of that can happen, we have the circle behind them scaling up. So let's animate that as well. And let's give it 12 keyframes. Alright. So we have that animating scaling up. And we can go to a graph editor as well. And make sure you go over here and you click on edit speed value, okay? So that you have the right curve. Because, you know, if you have the wrong thing like edit value graph, it will show some other curve. You don't want that. So let's go on the speed graph and let's drag this right here and drag the other ones. There we go, sweet. So now we got that animation going on. And this one is going to disappear at, you know, the same time as the beam does. So let's just do that real quick. And by pressing J or K on our keyboard, we can toggle between the keyframes that we have. So K goes forward and J goes back. Alright, now we have that. Looking good. What else do we need? We need... Actually, I think as far as the eye animation goes along, or the logo, I believe we're done. The only thing we need is outside here. So let's check how that's looking so far. Let's preview here. Not bad. I want that beam to disappear a little quicker though. Yeah, let's make that beam disappear a little bit quicker. So let's press U on the keyboard and that'll show up all the keyframes we have for that layer. So let's slide everything ever so slightly. And let's see how that plays out. There we go. And now another thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in and then let's blur that beam just a little bit. You know, right now it's very sharp. So let's blur it, maybe like a 6. And we'll go back to the main composition and there we go. That's way better. Let's open up the finish composition just for reference one more time. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm missing this right here. So let's nope, I'm not missing it. It's right there. You know what it is? Is the scale. It needs to scale up a little bit more. Yep. So let's scale it up way more, way past that circle. Because I believe that's what I did. Yep. That's what it is the scale. I knew something was looking off. So anyway, we already done that. So let's move to the next thing, which would be the lines. Those techie looking lines at the end. I don't know if you can see them very well, but you know, it's like at the edge of everything, those lines. So we're gonna grab our pen tool real quick and grab change the color to something lighter, like a lighter blue. Let's change our stroke to like 2, and then we're gonna trace a line, something like this. Alright, let's take the fill off so that it only has the stroke, and then let's rename this layer lines. Alright, and let's drop it down to behind the logo. Alright, so let's see what we have. We have very faint line, should be way more visible, so just make it a little weight lighter, something like that. Alright, and now that we have that, we're gonna go over to add, you know, this little arrow right here, and we're gonna add a repeater. Okay, and we're gonna go to the shape layer, and let's go down here on the menu and add way more copies, maybe like 30, you know. Let's see how that does. And we're gonna go down to transform repeater, right? And let's change that position way to so that way closer, way closer, something like that. And let's repeat them a bunch of times, something like that. And then we drag the lines towards the center of the logo. Alright, sweet. And now that we have that, let's duplicate our symbol here with Ctrl D, and then let's rename the copy Map. Okay, let's change the colors just so we know that it's something different. And we're gonna change our lines to an alpha matte, and that's gonna give it that the illusion that the lines are just where the logo is at, like right behind the logo, right? But it still doesn't look quite right, you know. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna animate its opacity. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we're gonna animate this opacity coming on, and also we're gonna animate its position, or rather, you know what, let's just go here on the mat, right, and unlock the scale, keyframe it, and then we're gonna go about maybe 10, or you know what, 15. Let's do 15 keyframes, right? And let's animate the scale going up. Alright, and one more thing, let's put this line, let's click on the line, right? And with the pen tool, let's drag them up way past the map. Alright, so let's do that for both ends here. And now that we have that, let's animate the scale. Going up. Alright, now we need to do one more thing. Now that we have that, we need it. The thing is, in the video game, when you open the menu, the lines only go up. You know, so they go, let's say they start here in the middle, they would just go up, like they're floating, right? Floating away into the sky or whatever. They don't go in both directions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the line here with the pen tool by pressing G on your keyboard, and then we're just gonna drag them up. So that's my bad, you know. Again, we're trying to recreate the menu from the game, so it's not gonna be 100% exactly like the game, but we're gonna get as close as possible, right? You know what else we can do to fix that problem? We can go to the matte layer, right? And with the anchor point here, we're gonna select it and bring it all the way down, all right, to the bottom of the layer. And that way, when it scales up, it's only gonna scale in that direction, all right? So that's gonna give it that illusion that it's going up. But let's scale it way less. It's subtle. It's very subtle in the game. So let's do maybe like 106, okay? There you go. So something like that. But one more time, we don't want it to fade off that quickly. We want it to start coming on as the eye disappears. So let's drag these keyframes a little bit over here. Alright, and then they're gonna fade on very quickly, and then they're gonna fade off again. So maybe like 5 frames after everything's done, we're gonna fade them off. Alright. And I believe these half circles are staying way too long. Maybe we're gonna have to fix that as well. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. But you know, so far we have that same feeling, you know. Everything is fading off, and we have the lines at the end. So not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's open up that symbol, and let's go to the keyframes here of the right side and the left side, right? And you know, let's just drag them over a little bit. So that's how many frames? 10, 9, 8. 8 frames to be exact. Alright? So they're gonna appear and disappear in 8 frames. And let's see how that plays out. They still stay way too long, you know? I feel like they should be disappearing a few more frames before. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 frames. There we go. That's better. There we go. Alright, what else do we have? We also have the blur, because as they're fading off, they're also blurring, you know? So let's select this whole layer, the Sheikah logo, right? And let's right click, go to our blur, Gaussian blur, right? And let's click on vertical. So it only blurs in a vertical way. And we're gonna also keyframe that blurriness, right? Let's press U on the keyboard to bring up all the keyframes. And as it's disappearing, it's gonna blur. So let's bring that up, maybe to like an 8. Alright, and let's bring it way back. So something like that. Alright. Again, everything, all the assets you see right here in this composition were made with shape layers. Everything done in After Effects, using a picture from the game as a guide. So I don't know if you wanted to learn how to make it, but it's very simple, man. Just with the pen tool, I went over, you know, all the images and everything. And with the pen tool, I traced everything. So it's doable in After Effects if you have a basic knowledge of the pen tool. But you know, enough of that tangent. We have our logo here disappearing. So now we should be able to animate the map, which is actually very simple. We're just gonna go over here to the compass layer, and you can already see I gave it a 10 frame head start. Okay. So we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna keyframe the position of the blue triangle layers, right? And let's go 15, 4, 5. All right. And then at 15, they're all gonna, you know what? Hold on. We're gonna need to change the rotation of this one right here, because they're all pointing outwards. All right. So now that they're all pointing outwards, let's move. Okay, let's move them in a little bit. Not too much, you know, something like that. So they're all gonna move inwards. All right, towards the yellow arrow. And this is by far the simplest part, you know. I think making everything, like making all the assets, is what took the longest. Actually animating them was fairly simple. So let's select all of them, press F9 to soften all those keyframes over. And then, you know what, let's give it a 5 frame rest, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's repeat these keyframes right here. So, you know, copy paste, Control C, Control V. To copy paste those, and then let's give it 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 more keyframes, and we're gonna repeat the keyframe from the beginning. So it goes, you know, in, out, all right, like it does in the game. So let's play it, So that's the idea, you know, it goes in, goes out. Let's see, let's add another rest. 1 2 3 4 5. Again, just basic copying and pasting. And then let's do again 10 keyframes. 1 2 3 4 5, that's 15. And we're gonna copy and paste one more time. So copy paste, so that they go in one more time. Alright, so now we have this loop of them coming in and then out. Alright, but you see that animation, how they're coming in very slowly, you know, very robotic like. So we're gonna need to change that. Let's go to the graph editor and grab all of those positions, right? And just press B on your keyboard, and let's just marquee everything, right? And start fixing these keyframes right here, these curves. You know, sometimes it can get a little repetitive, but that's part of the animation, man. You know, sometimes you have to get in there and repeat stuff over and over. There you go. So that's a little bit more interesting. I feel like they're stopping for too long, right? Yeah, let's reduce that weight to maybe 3 keyframes, right? Or you know what? Let's get rid of it altogether. Let's get rid of that weight. There we go. That feels way smoother. Yeah, I feel like that's way smoother than what we had. Alright, that's good enough. Let's go for the circle. And this is the... I apologize for how simple this one is. It's just animating the scale, really. So, you know, let's lock that back up and let's give it a little bit more, you know. I would say maybe 25. 1 2 3 4 5. So 25 keyframes, and it's just gonna scale very slightly, you know. Not too much. Let's bring it to 250. All right. And that's gonna be its animation basically. It's gonna scale up and fade off basically. So let's fade it off. 1 2 3 4 5. Just key that and then go back to this last keyframe here and bring it down to 0. And that's gonna be it, right? Let's duplicate it one more time. And oh, you know what else? Let's animate the scale starting from 0. Okay? Or you know what, 19, so that it comes from within the circle, or yeah, you know, 0. So it comes from within the circle, scales up and disappears. All right, so that's gonna be the animation. And let's fix the scale on this duplicate over here, and duplicate it again, slide it, and let's see what we got. There you go. So that feels more like a radar, you know, like a beep, beep. So I believe that's it. I believe we are ready, ready to go. Yeah, you know, fairly simple, fairly short tutorial. It's only been 20 minutes, so that's it, guys. I will see you next time. Hopefully you learned a little bit and you enjoyed the tutorial, and click like and subscribe, and it lets me know that you want more tutorials. But other than that, I will see you next time. Click that subscribe button and join the monkey family. Oh, and if you'd like to support the channel, check out my Patreon page. Go ahead, we'll wait.